Learning goal number 18, writing two-step equations.
Okay, learning goal number 18 is writing two-step equations, and we have worked with writing expressions and equations before. They were just one step, so it's just going to become a little bit more difficult. Now, let's review a few phrases and words that might pop out at you that are important. For example, anytime they say a number, they're referring to some sort of variable that you don't know. So you have the choice to use x, n, a, or any variable. Unless they specifically say a number x, then you could pick anything you would like for that variable. Okay? When they say 5 more than a number, when they use the word more than, that's referring to plus, addition, right? And people get confused because the order is reversed here. Even though it says 5 more than a number, it's actually taking a number and adding 5 to it. So you're taking this number x and I'm adding 5 to it. It's 5 more than that. All right? So when you have less than, which represents subtraction, 7 less than a number, that would be x minus 7. So these are the two that often give people trouble. When it's 5 more than, put plus 5. When it's 7 less than, put minus 7. So more than and less than, the order sort of flips. All of these keywords that are underlined represent different operations. For example, the sum, that represents addition. That represents addition. The sum of 5 and x. Okay, so now if you go over and you look at 5 and x, they are going to be in order. When you see these words, they represent a certain order. The sum represents addition, like I said, and 5 and x. Every time you see and, that's basically where your operation goes. And then it's the same order as it appears, 5 and x, so it's 5 plus x. When you move on to the difference, that's subtraction. It's the difference of x and 7. When you see and, there's your subtraction, there's your operation, and then x minus 7. In the same order it goes. If it said the difference of 7 and x, it would be 7 minus x. Okay, product represents multiplication. So the product of 3 and x, I could write that as 3 times x with a little dot. You could use a multiplication symbol, or you could even write it as 3x. We commonly see it as 3x. When you write two numbers next to each other with no operation in between, that refers to multiplication. Finally, the quotient. Quotient refers to division. The quotient of x and 3. And represents division, right? And it's the quotient of x and 3. Now, when you start getting into algebra, we don't really write division like that anymore. When you normally see division, it's written as a fraction. So the division of x and 3, x divided by 3, is like that, x divided by 3. All right, so let's jump into an example. Here we go. 8 less than 3 times a number is negative 23. Okay, first of all, I break it up into pieces. I start from left to right, I read it. When I feel like I have a portion I need to represent, I do that. For example, 8 less than, immediately, I'm going to take 8 away from something. What am I taking 8 away from? 8 less than 3 times a number. So 8 less than, I got that. 3 times a number, any number I want. I'll use n. So 8 less than 3 times a number, 8 less than 3 times n, is 3n minus 8. Is, okay, very important. That word is, or is equal to, you often see, that represents the equal sign. And then negative 23. 3n minus 8 equals negative 23. Or 8 less than 3 times a number is negative 23. All right, example number 2. 13 is 7 more than twice a number. Okay, 13 is. So this one sort of starts off backwards, right? It's a flipped equation, right? 13 is, 13 equals, 7 more than, means I'm going to add 7 to something. What am I adding 7 to? Twice a number. Okay, let's say my number is x this time. Twice x would be 2 times x, or 2x. 13 is 7 more than twice a number. Okay, example number 3. The quotient of a number in 4 decreased by 1 is equal to 5. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, so let's break it down. First of all, the quotient of a number and 4. Quotient refers to division. A number, x. The quotient of a number and 4, that we would normally write that as x divided by 4, but I'll write it as a fraction. This represents the quotient of a number and 4. Decreased by 1. This quotient is now being decreased by 1. Subtract 1 from it. The quotient of a number and 4 decreased by 1 is equal to, there's your equal sign, 5. The quotient of a number and 4 decreased by 1 is equal to 5. Now, let's take a look at some examples on your own.